In this session I'll describe a bit about overprinted lines and how we can handle them in Interform400. First of all, I will explain what overprinted lines are, how you actually define them, how you can identify these overprinted lines in Interform400, explain why you might see a different result in the graphical designer compared to the actual merged result, and how you can merge the overprinted lines in Autoform's control. Let's take a look at an output queue with a spoof file using these overprinting. If you want to make an underline of some characters, then you can print an underline and then print the characters after that in the exact same line and positions as the previous underline, so you'll have an underline appearing in the final result. If you want to print bold, previously without Interform400, you could do that by printing some text twice in the same positions. You cannot see the overprinting here on a normal display spoof file, but if you would print this out, and then you would see something like this. So you have your text with an underline and the bold actually of course appearing as bold. So the next question is, how are these overprinted lines defined? Well, they can be defined like this in the printer file. So you would print a underline and then print, for instance, a field in the exact same position and lines, or printing something twice like this. If you go back to Interform400, the question is, how can we identify these overprinted lines? Because sometimes they can actually cause a bit of confusion for those that are making a design in Interform400. And to do that, I've selected the spoof file here, and I can look at the spoof file not only with F18, which will display the spoof file as you would normally see it, but also with F19, display physical file member, where we can actually look at the spoof file like Interform400 will look at the spoof file. So here you can actually see on the left, you can see the current line number, so this is line 5, printing the underline, and then with a line distance of 0, you print the characters on top of that. So these two lines are printed in the same physical line, and this goes as well for this bold. We print it once and even twice in the same positions. So with F19 you can actually identify these lines. Just remember when you're looking at this that you need to subtract the positions 1 to 5 here to get the actual positions in your spoof file. So this is really position 1. One thing that sometimes is asked, well, how come is that the result that I'm actually printing out is different compared to what I see in the graphical designer? Well, if we look at the same spoof file here in the designer, then you will actually see something different compared to the final merged result as you would normally see it. So you can see here the underline has been removed, and the bold is not also not visible here. So we have chosen here in the graphical designer to merge these overprinted lines. So you would also lose a little bit of information here that whatever was previously bold or had this underline will no longer have that. But of course you can do remaps in order to change specific text into bold or add underline if you want that here through the designer. So that is sometimes something that comes as a bit of a surprise. If you want the same output that you see here in the graphical designer in the final output, then you have on any merge, both here, merge overprint lines, both here for a manual merge and also in any place in Autoform's control where you're merging a spoof file with an overlay or an overlay selector, you have this parameter where you can say merge overprint lines, yes, and then you will have the same output for the merge result in Autoform's control as you can see in the graphical designer. This concludes the presentation. For additional tips, you might refer to our other videos on YouTube or to the Interform 400 manual. Thank you.